Let's watch. Zohran Mamdani's win triggers colossal meltdowns from right-wingers and centrists because he's a Muslim. Like, Jesus Christ. I can't. Politics is exhausting. He's a Muslim. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyways, this is the Humanist Report, and this is his video. And we're going to check this out. Don't forget to go over to the Humanist Report. Make sure you sub up to that. Oh, Bucket with 10. Bucket. Thank you so much, Bucket. Thank you so much for the 10 memberships. Making the Angry Ginger Army strong. Thank you so much. Bucket, you are my hero, as you always have been. As you always have been, Bucket. All right, let's watch the video.
I don't want to go here, but Gotham. Have you seen what
Hold on. Let me guess. He's going to say something about dude being a Muslim.
Batman is up against in Gotham and what the guy running for mayor is up against. That's what it reminds me of. They're taking Wall Streeters and make him walk out onto the ice in the East River as and hope and then they fall through.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a class warfare that's going.
So what's happened here?
Solid.
I think
He's a rich type.
there's a division within the Democratic Party in New York City and New York State, and it's emblematic of the division that we see nationally. How far left does the Democratic Party want to go?
We had Kathy Wild sitting in the chair you
Solid
were
question.
in yesterday.
Solid
and she
question.
said the business community is terrified. I mean, describing it almost as a panic attack.
The new mayor, potentially, of New York is going to freeze the rents, and everybody eats for free, so they don't have to worry.
Look at Jim Cramer's face. It's so crazy. Look, I'm not going to sit here and act like what this guy just said isn't at least mildly hyperbolic. But let's just say that was what it was. Let's just say the New York mayor is going to make sure that everybody in his state, in his city, is going to be fed. They're going to be housed. They're going to get health care. They're going to potentially get more time off to spend with their family. It is absolutely fucking bewildering to think that middle-class Americans who consistently complain about how bad it is right now, how bad they're being treated, would be against that. It's fucking nuts, man. It's nuts to know that there are this many brainwashed fucking lemmings in this country that they would be against billionaires losing money, corporations paying fair wages, the people that are in the same exact boat as them getting health care and time off with their family, women getting maternity leave. It's fucking mind-boggling.
Terrified. I mean, describing it almost as a
Me
panic
too, Luck.
attack.
The new mayor, potentially, of New York is going to freeze the rents, and everybody eats for free, so they don't have to worry.
Really?
Yeah.
But how about the rich?
No.
Do they get shot?
No, yes.
Let's bring in New York City business.
He said, do they get shot? And that dude said, yes.
Owner Richie Romero to react to this. What was your initial reaction when you heard about this victory?
Honestly, I didn't sleep because I had to talk a lot of people off ledges last night that were calling me nonstop, moving out of New York, etc.
Really?
Moving out of New York. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. It's time to call them on the bullshit, guys. They're not taking their ball and going home. You know, one of my favorite things about California is when people say, all these businesses are leaving California. You know, the state that has a fuck ton of entrepreneurship. You know, the state that every time a big business leaves, multiple small businesses open to take the place. Yeah, I like living here. And I'm betting that if these fucks want to move out of New York, go to Florida, motherfucker. Go ahead. Because if you think that New York's economy is going to fall off a cliff, last I looked, New York as a city had like the 9th largest economy in the world. If you think it's going to fall off a cliff because people get health care, because people get paid a fair wage, because they get treated like, human beings, move the fuck out. Go for it. Someone will replace you. Someone that's motivated, somebody that wants to be successful, somebody that hopefully wants to take care of their workers will take your fucking place. And I'm here for it.
No need to talk him off the ledge, brother. Let him jump. That was just a tiny little fraction of the enormous shitstorm that ensued after Zohran Mamdani defeated Andrew Cuomo in New York City's mayoral race. And my favorite thing ever is this allegation that the working class is waging class warfare against the wealthy. I'm here to confirm that we are indeed doing just that. The days of the wealthy waging an asymmetric war against the working class are over. These oligarchs have taken every...
I'll disagree real quick with Mike here. It's not the days are not over. The days are not over because there are still a bunch of brainwashed ass lemmings out there. There are still a bunch of people sitting there talking about how they can't pay their rent, they can't feed their family, how gas is unaffordable, groceries are unaffordable, that still will vote against their own interests when it comes November 2025. So, even though I agree with what Mike is saying here, that we are smartening up, that we are waking up, that the middle class hopefully is starting to congeal and become something of substance, it ain't over yet. It's just the beginning.
Everything from us, our financial security, our system of
right,
governance, the habitability of our planet, our futures, and we are here to take it back from them.
Reverend?
And as panicked as they're feeling right now, they should feel thankful that it happened electorally, because with the way things were going, it felt like the peasants were on the verge of breaking out the pitchforks and foregoing the democratic process altogether, if you know what I mean. So in some ways, these wealthy slobs should be thanking Mamdani, because his method of change is preferable to a French-style revolution, which is what a significant number of Americans were ready for, since things have been going so bad, and seeing that they had no expectation whatsoever that our political system was even capable of producing a victory like this. But Mamdani's win has reinvigorated a portion of the population who is just ready to give up on America altogether, myself included, admittedly. And every single centrist, neoliberal Democrat should be shitting their pants right now, because this proves that once and for all, the energy of the Democratic Party is with the progressive wing of the party, and that bodes really well for the future of the Democratic Party. Now, I've got so many more reactions to share with you, but I first want to take a look at an analysis from CNN's data analyst, Harry Enten, who confirms that Mamdani's win is not some sort of a fluke. In fact, data indicates that he is representing a new direction that the base wants to take the Democratic Party in.
And this is what we've been talking about, right? This was the question that was answered by Donald Trump's win. And that is, somebody asked me the other day, I said something about, what was it? I said something about like the continued polarization of America. And somebody said, well, aren't there a lot more Democrats than Republicans? And I said that used to be true. There used to be a pretty wide gap. It was like, 47%. These are made up numbers. I'm throwing these numbers out there. Like 47% were Democrat, and it was like 39% or 35% were Republican, and then a certain percentage were independent. And over the past few years, that gap has actually closed quite a bit. And more independents were becoming Republicans. And this is something we learned from Trump's presidency, is that this country, the reason these people are moving towards being Republican, or independents are becoming more Democratic, whatever it is, or more progressive, to be honest, not more Democratic, becoming more progressive, is because Trump's win showed people no longer are accepting of this kind of moderate, hey, we just, we live with the racists, we live with the homophobes, or the opposite side, the Republicans, these MAGA people saying, we don't want to live with the gays, we don't want to live with the Muslims. And this win goes to show that is that is the truth of this situation, and we can deny it all that we want, but it is the truth of this situation, is that people are tired of playing this balancing act where they get a politician into office and then that person gets very mediocre things done. And I continue to say this on the stream, is that it's time for Democrats to wake up and recognize that if a Democratic president wins the election in 2028 and goes into office in 2029 and pulls the same bullshit that has been pulled by these Democratic presidents for all of time, and I'm not saying that I even dislike them, I'm just saying that was a different time where you only get these really small victories and you're not pushing people to get universal health care, single-payer universal health care, to not give UBI when we all know AI is right on our doorstep, when they're not pushing for forgiving college debt when we know it's extremely popular, then that's going to be the last Democratic president you ever see, because progressives, hard left-leaning Democrats will give up on this system. And this win, as Mike is pointing out here, does make the case that where we're at as a culture, as a society, is that the left wants people that are going to, he hasn't done anything yet, hasn't been elected yet, but are going to potentially actually get some shit done. There is a case in this country for minorities to say they have been betrayed by the Democratic Party for decades. Because for decades, the Democratic Party has said that they would do these amazing things. And to give credit where credit is due, they've made progress. We are better off now than we were in the 60s. We're better off now than we were in the 80s. But people are tired of waiting. People are impatient. They want to see it in their lifetime. And if there's one thing that Democrats can definitely rip out of Donald Trump's playbook, it is, you know what? The other side's never going to vote for you, and you should stop trying to get them to. Instead, it's time for Democrats, for progressives, to get into office and do things that progressives and Democrats agree should be done. So, I think this is dope.
Let me tell you, this was a political earthquake that should have the Democratic establishment running scared. What are we talking about here? Well, New York City primary upsets like Mamdani's. This is truly one for the record books. There are really only two that I could think of that are anything like this. And that was back in '89 for mayor when David Dinkins won over three-term mayor Ed Koch. Koch was running for a fourth term. The voters said, there was big turnout then, just like there was big turnout last night. And of course, more recently, if you want to take a look at a national picture, think back to 2018, New York's 14th Democratic.
And you know what he just said? He said the most important word: turnout. Kamala Harris lost because of turnout. Now, there's people like, well, she lost because of this and she lost it. Yes. I understand that. I understand there's multitudes of reasons. But one of the major reasons that Kamala Harris lost is turnout. When he says there was major turnout, when they say when AOC won, there was major turnout, that is so important to recognize. Because this administration wants you nihilistic, apathetic, and exhausted. They don't want you to turn out. In 2025 in November, they don't want you to turn out. They want you tired, exhausted, apathetic, and nihilistic. And they don't want you to vote. So people better be ready now, because this is a marathon, it's not a sprint, to turn out when it comes time to turn out, just like these people did.
Primary going for Congress when AOC beat House Dem Caucus Chair Joe Crowley. This, to me, is very much like that. Energizing young voters, energizing voters on the left, and providing what truly was a historic night last night in Democratic circles.
And, you know, look, on paper, this is a mayor's race. This is also New York City, special city. But is this more a New York City thing, or is this more of a sign of a larger national trend when it comes to the Democratic Party?
Yeah, just like AOC's victory in 2018, this did happen locally, but I think you can take it up nationally. What are we talking about here? Well, you know, you think about Democratic establishment, you think about Democratic Party leaders, pretty much all of them were behind Andrew Cuomo, but the bottom line is
what has every poll up to this point said, to answer that man's question? What has every poll in the Democratic Party said up to this point? That Democrats are tired of the Democrats that are running this party. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and shit on people that have done some legitimately good things over the years. But what I will do is say times have changed. Do I like everything that Obama did? No. Do I like everything that Biden did? No. Do I like everything that Clinton did? No. But they all had their W's. And those W's were a beautiful thing when they happened. But that was then, and this is now. And people are tired of establishment. They are tired of the Democratic Party trying to be the adult in the room. They are tired of hearing about working across the aisle with people that have never, ever, 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 ever been interested in working with them. It's time for them to be replaced.
Democratic base is fed up, done with the Democratic establishment. This is true in New York. It's true nationally. Democrats who say their party leaders should be replaced. Look at this. This is a recent poll from Reuters Ipsos. 62% of Democrats nationally say their party leaders should be replaced. Party leaders like Andrew Cuomo, party leaders like Jim Clyburn, who, of course, endorsed Andrew Cuomo. You think about all the Democrats that were behind Andrew Cuomo in the establishment. The Democratic base is fed up with them. And the bottom line is nationally, the vast majority of Democrats think that their party leaders should be replaced. But it's more than this, right? Of course, Mamdani ran a pretty far left campaign, right, compared to what we normally see in Democratic circles. But the bottom line is, you talked to me 20, 30 years ago, there was no way I thought a Democratic socialist could win a nomination for mayor in New York or nationally. But look,
there you go. Look at those percentages. Look at that. And that's not just a sign of the Democratic Party. That's a sign of political polarization in America. It is that the longer that we play this game of being moderate, of balance, of working across the aisle, the more frustrated, to be honest, both sides get. Both sides want to see candidates that get into office and do what they want them to do. And Trump, even if it's all hyperbolic, even if it's all bullshit, even if it's all lies, has done the job of getting into the office and making these people feel good about what he's doing. And let's be honest, the main thing that these people wanted to see were brown people getting picked up off the street and tossed out of this fucking country. That's what they wanted, and Trump said, okay, I'll do it. You can't deny that the dude did it. He's doing it. I just had a meeting with a dude today who's of that descent, and we talked about it. Him going to different cities and being like, "Oh, ICE is here." He's got to be afraid. This man he's not here illegally. He's not undocumented, but because of the color of his skin, he has to be afraid that at one point or another somebody's gonna fucking jump him on the street with a mask on and try and fucking throw him in a detention center. And we're not asking for that. For the love of fucking Christ, what we're asking for is healthcare for everybody. Not just for Democrats, but for Republicans and everybody else too. What we're asking for is UBI because we understand that AI is going to displace truck drivers who probably, to be honest with you, are majority Republican. We're not asking for people to be yanked off the street and deported. We're asking for people to get human rights. And if 55% now agree that that's important, then fucking Democratic leaders better fucking listen.
Democrats who identify as liberal nationally. In 1994, it's 25%. You go to 2004, 33%. 2014, 43%. Now the majority of Democrats nationally identify as liberal. If there are Democratic establishment folks who think this is just going to be contained in New York, I say this is a warning sign to you. It very much may not be.
What is this feeling? Is this hope? Is it optimism? I don't know what to do with these emotions. The last time I felt this way was after Bernie Sanders won the Nevada caucus
Later,
in
Robert.
a landslide in
Get well,
2020.
Robert.
And I wish that I could capture this feeling and put it in a bottle and save it for when I need it the most, because like this is a high that you chase after that you can never find. But I feel rejuvenated now, almost like this spark of hope has been reignited in my heart. And I know.
But the one thing I'll say about that is this isn't one small thing that's happened. Somebody said earlier, the world is doing big things right now. We have, sorry, Mike, for that pause here, Mike. Let me help you out.
Oh, I'm not.
Okay, better. Sorry, Mike. Look, the world pushed back against Donald Trump. Canada pushed back against Donald Trump. Germany pushed back against Donald Trump. The world set the stage for this because it gave people here hope. If we would have seen far-right people win in Germany, far-right people win in Canada, far-right people win throughout the world, that would have been the narrative right now. And something like this would have been one small spark, right? But instead what you see is this much bigger thing. And that is, there are a lot of fucking people out there that agree with you, that think that like people deserve these human rights. So it's amazing because when he says he feels this hope off of this, I felt this hope when Carney won. I felt this hope when Canada said, we're not going to be your 51st state. Fucking stop. You know, like this is like more than just Mamdani winning. This is the world winning. This is the world saying, we are not going to go down this unilateral, authoritarian, autocratic, dictator bullshit road. Not again, not now, not ever. And it's the reason it feels so good is because I'm not sure that many of us thought that America could follow suit. And they did. It's fucking great. It feels good.
Alone. I know you all feel the same, but I am forcing myself to be a little bit more cautious here because it's not over until it's over. And I say this because in 2021, socialist India Walton pulled off a shocking upset as well in the Buffalo Democratic mayoral primary, and she defeated the incumbent Byron Brown. But he subsequently launched a long-shot write-in campaign and took lots and lots of money from Republican donors in an effort to stop her in the general election. And unfortunately, it worked. So I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade, but the Buffalo race is one of many cautionary tales warning us that the Democratic Party machine isn't just going to go silently into the night. They will do everything in their power to stop Mamdani in the general election. You already have Eric Adams running as an independent, and I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Cuomo did the same thing. So we still have to fight to make sure that this win is indeed a win. But I will say that the thing that's changed since 2021 with India Walton's race is that the Democratic Party's base has seemingly become much more radicalized in the second Trump term, and they understand finally that milquetoast corporate Democrats aren't going to save us from fascism. But the general election is still a ways off, and I think that we owe it to ourselves to enjoy this. We should take the time, at least for a little bit, to be the biggest sore winners in the history of sore winners because of how much bullshit we've had to endure for fucking long. And that is what we are going to do right now in this video, my friends. It's time to gloat because so many centrists like Matty Glacius and so many conservatives like Charlie Kirk are having meltdowns of epic proportions today.
Did I seen the Charlie Kirk one? Racism, just full on racism. The dude is just, I mean, I can't believe that people have not done a better job of calling this dude out on his bullshit. And also, that is one weird looking motherfucker. Let's just be honest. That is a weird looking dude. He might be an alien. His one of the video, I didn't see the whole video. I just saw a part about him talking about it being 9/11.
and their tears are providing me with much needed fuel. So let's start with the reactions from hysterical right-wingers who were clearly flooded with a spectrum of emotions ranging from racism to xenophobia. And when you add in the element of socialism, I think it's safe to say that their heads were this close to exploding. For example, Jay Aubrey shared this screenshot from Fox News where they fearmonger about Mamdani's socialist promises, including no-cost childcare, baby baskets to newborns, and a $30 minimum wage. Oh no, whatever.
Oh no. Oh no.
Whatever will New Yorkers do with all of that extra money in their pockets? They must be horrified at the thought of living a little bit more comfortably. So sad. Now on Twitter, AOC shared the cover of the New York Post, which says NYC SOS, who will save the city after radical socialist batters Cuomo and Dem mayoral primary. And she juxtaposed that cover with the cover after she was elected. And she adds, billionaires use the same scare tactics every time to divide working people. It's all to create hysteria and keep us from achieving the affordable, dignified life we deserve. We won't fall for it anymore. Here's to working towards a safe, welcoming, affordable future for all. Now, when you seek out the response...
And by the way, they stole the idea of the baskets for babies. I mean, that's where the idea of bank accounts for newborns or whatever the fuck it is that Trump wants to do, right? This is why this is so important, is because these people literally will be 100% against any progressive agenda until those words come out of Donald Trump's mouth. If Donald Trump says universal health care for all and single payer universal health care is good, or Donald Trump says AI is coming, UBI is important, these people will flip on a fucking dime and will all of a sudden be like, oh, you know what, that's great. So when you hear them fear-mongering about babies, baskets for babies thing, or you hear them fear-mongering about free childcare, do not forget that that is not meant to disparage the idea of those things. It's to disparage the idea of those things coming from Democrats. They don't want you to get those things because they want to be able to come out and half-ass it and give a shit arrangement for you. And that's going to be popular because it's coming from Donald Trump. So now all of a sudden Donald Trump gave us free childcare. He's not going to do that. But he gave us free childcare, so it's a good thing now. What they want you to do is they want you to criticize the other person within your party. Oh, how are we going to pay for that, bro? Like, dude, all the billionaires are going to leave, bro. Like, do you know what's going to happen if we do these things? America's going to fall apart. That's what they want. So do not forget, when they say things like free childcare, and then they say, well, there's no way we can pay it. That's not them saying that from their point of view. That's them saying it so that way you will argue amongst each other. That's what that's for. We want free childcare because that means more people being able to work. We want free childcare because that means people living less stressed out lives, which means that they're better parents, that they take care of their children better, which creates better human beings that become more productive and successful. We want kids being taken care of because when kids are taken care of, there's less crime in this country. They want that too. They don't want you to do it, and until dear leader says it, they don't know that they want that too.
Responses from conservatives on Twitter, that's of course where they really let their freak flags fly. For example, we have Pastor Greg Locke saying,
we read those
New York City has fallen. The demonic sounds of Islamic prayer calls will soon be heard throughout the streets. The trash will pile higher than ever. Jews and Christians will be hated. Rape will skyrocket. NYC will be the next London.
It is a party of anger, hate, and vitriol. And they prove it over and over and over again.
I love the poorly educated.
Whoops. Wrong button.
My God. Keep crying, asshole. Charlie Kirk says 24 years ago, a group of Muslims killed 2,753 people on 9/11. Now, a Muslim socialist is on pace to run New York City. I mean, he's just going straight up like full mask off, clan level racism here. Jack Posobiec says, a foreign-born Muslim socialist just won the primary for New York City mayor. Are we allowed to talk about mass immigration now? No, you're not. Mike Cernovich adds, a Marxist Hamas lover cleared another hurdle to become New York City's next mayor. Laura Loomer tweets, there will be another 9/11 in New York City and Zohran Mamdani will be to blame.
Like, just for 1 second, stop and think about that fucking statement. There will be another 9/11 because they elected a Democratic Socialist Muslim mayor. How fucking dumb are these people that follow this shit and read this shit and go, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes a ton of sense, because just because there is a Democratic Socialist Muslim elected, for sure there's going to be terrorism. Jesus Christ. Like, how brainwashed do you have to be to read Laura Loomer tweets?
These people are genuinely insane. Stephen Miller tweeted, NYC is the clearest warning yet of what happens to a society when it fails to control migration. Actually, he's an example of the good that comes out of immigration.
Oh my God,
Marjorie
dude.
Taylor Greene says, this hits hard, and she shared a picture of the Statue of Liberty wearing a burqa. I mean, they don't even care what the Statue of Liberty says about immigrants, so it's ironic that she is acting as if the Statue of Liberty and its message has been disregarded when conservatives are the ones that did that. Gary Kasparov says, social...
Yeah, Etch just said it. So what was Rudy? Because if I remember right, didn't they have a white mayor during 9/11? Wasn't it a white guy? That's weird. That kind of fucking blows a hole or two in that whole plot. Well, it turns out that if a white dude's the mayor, we get 9/11. Well, that's crazy.
Socialism is like polio. It comes back when people forget about the horrible damage it did last time. Actually, you're thinking of fascism, Gary. Meghan McCain says conservatives have no place in New York City, and the ones who argue my point defiantly still living there are going to fuck around and find out. Laura Ingraham...
That actually, I mean, nice warning. Get them out. Good job. All of them should move to Alabama. All the conservatives... Sorry for you guys that are in Alabama. I'm really sorry. I know a couple of you in Alabama. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I don't know if you guys can think of another, like, fucking southern state that these people can move that will be hell for them because it's fucking ridiculously hot. I don't know. They can go there too. Maybe there's a couple options. I'm just saying, Meghan McCain is kind of hitting. Like, y'all should move out of New York and find somewhere in the deep south where you guys get sunburned all the time and life is shitty and you get stung by bugs and, you know, perhaps eaten by a fucking alligator. Is there alligators in Alabama? I don't know if that's true.
says, you think NYC's turn to socialism and communism is just a New York thing? It's not. Uncontrolled immigration, greenlit since the 80s by the Uniparty, is remaking every American community. We imported anti-Americanism, cultivated it in schools. Now comes the poisonous crop. Well, I, for one, can't wait to see that crop bloom even more, Laura. Ben Shapiro says, you did it. You finally did it, you maniacs. You blew it up. And he shared a picture of the Statue of Liberty on the beach from Planet of the Apes. I feel like this is much more restrained than what he's feeling internally right now. So he's trying to play it off jokingly, but you know, he's really nervous deep down.
Ben Shapiro's been going through some shit. Let's be honest. That's a half-hearted tweet on Ben Shapiro's part. Ben Shapiro's been like trying to search his inner self to find out how he turned from being a forever no Trump, a never Trumper, into a Trump stan. He's still trying to deal with that inner conflict of having to grift that hard off of his viewers by going from being a never Trump guy to being a guy that literally just loves him some Trump, but then watches Trump do all the shit that he's like, oh, I don't like this. Yeah, that's a pretty half-hearted tweet on Ben's part. That looks like he's struggling. That somebody should check on Ben. Little Ben Shabibo definitely needs to be checked on.
Matt Walsh.
Let's check on him.
Yeah, you effing with some wet-ass P-word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass P-word. Give me everything you got for this wet-ass P-word.
Yep.
P-word. P-word is female genitalia.
He's going through some shit, guys.
Tweets, 40% of New York City's population is foreign-born, not just second and third generation immigrants, foreign-born. Exactly. Almost half the city wasn't born in this country. NYC isn't an American city anymore by any reason.
Oh, wait. Mitchell wins. We send them all to Russia. Dude, that's win-win. Win-win, Mitchell. We send them all to Russia. That is fucking good job. Let's start that GoFundMe. Let's get it going.
Reasonable definition of the term. It's a tragedy and a disgrace. Just like saying the quiet part.
Can we definitely send Matt Walsh? 40% of New York City's population is foreign-born, not just second and third generation immigrants. Foreign-born. Almost half the city wasn't born in this country. NYC isn't an American city anymore by any reasonable definition of the term. It's a tragedy and disgrace. 1 million views on that, by the way, guys. 1 million views. Who do you think should be first? Like, I would be willing, like Matt Walsh being deported to Russia. I could get behind that. Who do you think should be the first person deported? I mean, I know a lot of you guys are going to say Trump, but Trump's pretty old, okay? He's at end of life. The cognitive decline that we are watching from Donald Trump is readily apparent. At one point or another, he's not even going to know his own name. He's going to be shitting on himself, and, you know, his Big Mac juice is going to be just, like, leaking down his orange-ass face, and his makeup's going to be smearing and stuff anyways. So I know a lot of you guys that say Trump first, but I don't know if that's where we want to go. There are younger, more likely candidates. How about Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk, also a good one. Tim Pool. I'm just throwing them out there. You guys let me know. You guys let me know what you think.
Out loud that he hates all immigration. And finally, Patrick Bet David chimed in saying Florida just got a little more crowded. Okay.
Good luck.
Shut up, Patrick, you dumb bitch. So as you can see, they don't know what they should be more.
Hold on.
Shut up. And finally, like saying the quiet part loud that he hates all immigration.
Vance? That's what you
and
want?
finally, Patrick Bet David chimed in saying Florida just got a little more crowded. Okay. Shut up, Patrick, you dumb bitch. So as you can see, they don't know what they should be more mad about. The fact that he's a socialist or a Muslim or an immigrant. It's just all so triggering to them that they can't help but seethe with rage. I think that we can do better, though. We need a gay immigrant, trans communist vegan from outer space to win the next election so they really lose their shit.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, man, what do I need to do? Like, what do you guys think? Like, I could go vegan. I don't think I go vegan, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't do vegetarian, vegan. I eat a lot of meat. Muslim. I think there's something in Muslim in their religion that also says I can't like eat pork. I can't do that. Like, I really like pig. I'm probably not the guy for this, apparently.
I'm talking about levels of woke that will rip a hole in the space-time continuum. Because these same people, they just elected Donald Trump, a criminal rapist who tried to overthrow the 2020 election. I'm sorry, but they can permanently shut the fuck up forever about American politics. Their input should be disregarded in perpetuity. If you push for Donald Trump to become president, you have no right to complain about extremism or any candidate on the left ever again. These people are destroying this fucking country. So it's hilarious that they think we care at all about their hysterical opinions. Hey, conservatives, suck my dick. If I wanted to hear an asshole, I'd fart. We are not stopping until we find the reincarnation of Che Guevara in this bitch, okay? We're gonna give your dumbasses healthcare and education and childcare and a habitable planet, and you're gonna shut the fuck up and take it. But I'd be remiss to not talk about all of the liberals, the centrists, who are
I was about to say. They're not talking to people like me and Mike. When they're saying this dumb shit, they're saying it to the centrist left, the moderate left. They're saying it, like I said, when the right is talking, they already have a captive audience in conservatives. They already have hate-filled, angry, vitriolic people. They don't need to keep reminding these people to be hateful. They've already got them revved up and ready to go. When they are tweeting like this, they are talking at certain people on the left that are super concerned that somebody is going to look at them and say, oh, so you support Muslim extremism? Oh, so you support women having their rights taken away from them? Oh, so you support child marriage? And this is the part where every liberal needs to get better. And that is, when somebody looks at me and goes, oh, so you think that it's a good thing that the Muslims won't allow women to drive? I go, no, I don't. No, I don't. No. So then why would you vote for this Muslim mayor? Well, because he doesn't seem to represent those ideals, and I don't think that parties or even religions really represent values. I think people do. And you can be a Muslim and still be a good person. You can be a Christian and still be a good person. You can also be a Christian and be a really bad person. And when somebody comes to me and says, hey, do you like or dislike this person? I'm going to go, well, let's take a look at their values. Does this person believe that women's rights should be taken away? You know, like conservatives? No, I don't like that person. Oh, does this person believe in child marriage? No, I don't like that person. Does this person believe in, you know, going across an entire continent, murdering infidels, and, raping and killing children because of their religion? By the way, that was the Crusades. No, I don't like that person either. But it's not specific to who that person is in their religion. It is not specific to who they are ethnically. It is specific to who that person is as a person. And if you are a moderate leftist, or if you are a moderate Democrat, and you're saying to yourself, well, I can't support this mayor because at the end of the day, if I support this mayor, well, he's Muslim, so that means that I support things that have happened in that culture that are against women, then you're a fucking moron. And you are part of the problem. Because people represent values, not parties, not religions, not groups. If you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit, and you don't get to use the excuse that it's because of your religion or because of your culture. It's because of you. You are a piece of shit. Not everybody else.
Deeply distraught over the Democratic Party's voters finally choosing something new for a change. Now, Donica tuned into News Nation to see how Chris Cuomo was taking the news about his brother's cheeks getting clapped by a Democratic socialist, and his face says it all. And the chyron is the cherry on top, reading, extremism has taken...
Oh, no way. His brother's saying that? Oh, no. His brother's saying... No way. The guy who said, yes, I would willingly ruin my career to stand up for my brother, which, sure, that's fine. That you 10 toes down, brother. You did it. But that don't mean any of us have to agree with it. No way. This guy is saying that the new mayor is an extremist. This is the kind of bullshit that can just fucking miss me. Right past. Because I can see right through it.
Rude in America. But what's funny is that chyron and his face was actually just a coincidence, because I looked up this segment and he wasn't talking about Mamdani there. He was talking about extremist socialists like AOC who, quote, support Hamas. But I think that that's just a small taste of what's to come. So I, for one, can't wait to see how he reacts to the end of his family's political dynasty by an extremist like Zohran Mamdani. Hey, Chris, so I say this on behalf of all so-called extremists on the left. Fuck you. Fuck your brother, fuck your whole family. Go be with your fellow Islamophobes in the Republican Party, because you're no longer needed here. This is our party now, bitch. Cope and seethe. Cry. But this morning, on Morning Joe, Vodka Snowflake took a video from his TV on his phone, and the audio is terrible here. But if you listen carefully, Scarborough's comments genuinely made me laugh out loud.
The numbers that came in last night, shocking. And here you have the New York Times, of course, with an editorial saying that the winner last night, Mamdani, is not qualified.
Damn, look at Eric Adams' sad ass. Look at his sad ass down there. 4.1. Who the fuck voted for Eric Adams? I was just about to shit on him for only getting 4%. And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, how the fuck did this guy get 4%? And if you think that I'm like, the winds have changed, go back and watch my fucking videos. Go back and watch my videos before Eric Adams had gone through his whole Trump fucking change. I was saying it before. Corrupt is corrupt. I don't give a fuck if you're Bob Menendez. I don't give a fuck if you're Donald Trump. Corrupt is corrupt. If you did some shit that has made life worse for the people of your country, then, in the words of Mike, eat a dick.
And then you have the Wall Street Journal, of course, just saying this is no time to elect a socialist.
I'm more of an extremist than he is.
Saying he's all for globalizing the infantada.
I'm going to laugh every time I say that shit.
Yeah, that's, I don't know if that's
voted for
why a lot of people in New York are socialists who's saying he's all for global The winner last night, Mamdani, is not qualified. And then you have the Wall Street Journal, of course, just saying this is no time to elect a socialist who's saying he's all for globalizing the infantata. I mean, yeah, that's, I don't know if that's what a lot of people in New York City think they need right now, but it sure looks like that's what they think inside the Democratic primary.
Yeah, it is truly a stunning result in New York.
Mamdani wants to globalize the infantata.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? That's what I'm sitting here saying.
Oh, I love that so much. I think what he means is that Mamdani wants to give cribs to infants. Ta-da,
Yeah.
we did it. Something like
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is he saying?
that. At least it sounded like he said infantata, but it made me laugh hysterically, unreasonably so for some reason. But I love how he's trying to remain calm, cool, and collected as if he's not dying inside. And part of it is I think he's trying to not get into a leftist cope compilation, but unfortunately for him, he gave us just enough to make the cut here. I'm so sorry, Joe. And while I was looking for the full version of that clip to get better audio, I couldn't find it, but I did find another point where he brought up Mamdani, and guess what he referenced once again?
Nothing.
Well, listen, I think we're going to hear more, Rev, about him saying that some people who say they need to globalize the infantata is not a bad thing. Is not anti-Semitic. I think we're going to be hearing an awful lot more about that. We're going to be hearing about his economic plans, a socialist in New York. There's going to be, I think we're going to have a very competitive, interesting general election.
He is
What a bitch.
so goddamn mad, but he's trying so hard to not sound like it. Hey, Joe, go back to the Republican Party, my friend. We don't want you here in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party base doesn't agree with you. They agree with Zohran on the issue of Israel-Palestine, and your disingenuous anti-Semitism allegations aren't persuasive to anyone anymore. They only make you look desperate. So get the fuck back to your own party. See, the problem is that these center-right Republicans, they all fled the Republican Party once the GOP went full fascist, and then they pushed leftists out of what should be our party, when they should have been trying to take over the Republican Party, not the Democratic Party.
That's
See,
not a bad point.
we have to do everything in our power to drive these people out of the party, kick their asses to the curb, and then lock the door behind them. Because for so long, the left has been the ones who've been marginalized, who felt like they weren't welcome in the Democratic Party. But now is the time to make it clear that they are the ones who aren't welcome. This is our party now. But I've got to be even more clear about this. Again, Joe Scarborough, you are not welcome in this party. I don't care if you consider yourself a
Didn't Joe Scarborough eat that orange ass? Didn't he give him a rim job like right after he won the election? Him and that lady, the other one, I forgot, his buddy.
a moderate or what you identify as, there's no room for genocide denialism in this party, so fuck off. But I've got even more reactions from centrists who seemingly hate socialists more than fascists. For example, we have this Twitter user reacting to the DNC chair congratulating Zohran, saying, "We're congratulating a socialist? We're so cooked." Lauren Summers says, "I am profoundly alarmed about the future of the DNC and the country by yesterday's NYC anointment of a candidate who failed to disavow a globalize the Intifada slogan and advocated Trotskyite economic policies. I hope candidate Zohran Mamdani, who showed great ability to learn and adapt during his campaign, will continue to evolve in ways that provide much needed reassurance to people committed to a free from prejudice market economy as an American ideal." Fuck off. GenXirl shared this exchange with Drew Pavlo, who says Zohran's election is a catastrophe for Western civilization. We are losing our country. And then somebody responds saying, "You're not an American."
I was gonna say that motherfucker isn't even American. Isn't he British? This is the kind of shit that drives me nuts about the fucking internet age. Like, what was that fucking alpha male fucking idiot? That fucking garbage ass, fucking out of shape, ain't never had fucking the feeling of being a fucking like alpha anything his entire fucking life. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fucking Australian." But I'm the #1 Trump fan. That fucking girl, I did that video. I have that video, that girl that got Trump fucking tattooed across her forehead. And then you watch the videos and she's in fucking Britain. And you're like, this is why I hate the internet. I mean, there's a lot of reasons I hate the internet. But it's like, you're not even fucking here! And people are like jerking off. They're like, yeah, this guy's a big Trump supporter. He can't fucking vote.
And then he responds to that saying, I am
Well, go
spiritually, Jesus
Nick
Christ.
Adams. Yeah,
Max
that's his name.
Abrams says,
Yeah.
I have never wanted less to do with the Democratic Party. Fine, then
Good.
fuck off. Liz Wolfe says, I don't think the Zohran stands realize just how fucked this city will be when all the high earners migrate out of Jersey and Connecticut. You cannot act so entitled to other people's earnings and expect them to not put up a fight. That's what the rich people are doing to poor people. You
Yeah, fuck them.
dipshit. And Zohran Mamdani, I think, specifically said that he wants to make the tax rate for rich people in New York City the same as it is for New Jersey. So good job there looking at his policies, dipshit. You're just like knee-jerk defending rich people as if that makes you the reasonable one. It makes you the unreasonable one, Liz.
No, don't say you have wannabe MAGA heads in the Netherlands. Is there nowhere that's safe on this globe? Is there anywhere on this globe that is safe?
So shut the fuck up. Matty Glacius chimed in saying, I certainly hope he follows the Fetterman Gallego Katz client trajectory. Yeah, that's not surprising coming from somebody who's never had a good take in his life. Rachel Whitekoffer says NYC is just going to have to go through the full San Francisco experience to recover its sanity. Why don't you just join the Republicans already, Rachel?
Dude, they were already saying. That's the thing. That's the fucking most hilarious part about all this. Is they've already been espousing the rhetoric that New York is just as bad as San Francisco. They've already said that Los Angeles or New York or Chicago, any big city, because big cities are blue, all big cities are bad. They're all terribly ran. There's all tons of homeless. Like, this is the fucking, like, the most insane fucking bullshit of all this is that these people will come out and say that New York is overran by immigrants, the streets aren't safe, there's homeless everywhere, and then they'll go, yeah, I guess they just need to go through that San Fran experience. And there's a bunch of people on the left that will fucking fall for that shit. There are so many fucking people on the left that'll be like, yeah, San Francisco is pretty bad. Like, you fucking dipshits. Shut the fuck up. Like, you are literally playing into their hands. There is not a lot of times that I can just straight up give the fucking conservatives credits for shit. They like to fuck shit up pretty bad. But the one place I can give them credit over and over again and be right like the majority of the fucking time is they know how to get the left to say the dumbest shit to other people on the left. Like, you can fucking live in San Francisco, live in the nice parts of San Francisco, never ever even go into any of the bad parts of San Francisco, and you will sit there and go, yeah, San Francisco's pretty bad. Why did you say that? Oh, because I saw it on Twitter. I don't go down there. It's fucking insane.
This one is good. Harry Sison chimed in saying, lesson of the night. Please, Democrats, embrace social media and new media. It clearly works. Harry Sison is pretending like he was on board with Zohran when he said nothing about Zohran. Furthermore, it's not social media that worked. It was his policies. It was his socialism. It was his refusal to kowtow to the Democrats who wanted him to support Israel. It was his condemnation of Israel's genocide. That's what did it, not media, Harry. Now, last but not least, Brianna Woo says, Democrats as a brand are cooked. We're going to get the reputation of socialist terrorist cheerleaders who hate our own country and will deserve it. Normies have got to reclaim our party. I spent a decade working with the far left. They kill any institution they touch. Hey,
That's sad. You know, I've reached out to Brianna Woo, actually, to be on the show a couple times because I wanted to talk. I wanted to have a conversation. Like, doesn't she run Progressive Victory? Like, what the fuck? What is wrong with people? They're all triggered. They're all so fucking afraid. And that's what it comes down to. You can't have a party ran with a bunch of bitches. Okay? Like, that's what it comes down to. Like, every one of these fucking people are so scared. And I'm not, like, I'll sit here and say to you guys, during this video, I said this. I said, like, I'm not going to shit on Obama for his W's. He got some W's. He got some L's, too. I'm not going to shit on Clinton for his W's. He got some W's. Got some L's, too. It was a different time. All of these people are looking back on Obama, on Clinton, on Biden, and saying to themselves, like, yeah, like, fucking, that's the plan. We got to go back to that. We got to go back to that. And they're completely fucking forgetting. Fuck, I forgot. forgetting what the fuck had happened 8 months ago. Like, are these people alive right now, or are these fucking bots tweeting? I'm with you. If you would have asked me a year ago if the better thing to do was to be moderate and play between the 45s, or to embrace the values that I truly do believe in, which is the winning strategy, I would say, as a guy, hey guys, you know, let's look back at Biden. Looks like what worked for Biden was being milquetoast. It looked like, you know, being a moderate. And hey, you know, he did get us some wins. He forgave $200 billion in college debt. You know, he was much more progressive than we ever thought he was going to be. But if you ask me now what's going on, I'm going to tell you Donald Trump broke the fucking game, and these people can't keep up. They can't keep up. And that's the fucking reason that people want different leadership in the Democratic Party. Because they can't keep up. Because they can't look at the situation now and say to themselves, 8 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, I thought differently, but shit has changed. New shit has came to light. And maybe it's time to change that strategy. These people need to grow a fucking spine, stop being a bunch of bitches, wake the fuck up, and recognize you ain't playing the same game. And these people that you're playing against already know that. And they've already used their strategy to win. That's where we're at.
Brianna, you're the one supporting terrorists, and
Night,
it's our
Rev.
party now,
Appreciate you,
so
Rev.
fuck you.
What up, Five Alarm?
Honestly, I could read these comments all day. If there was a way to liquefy these tweets and inject them into my veins, I would actually do that, literally, because this is better than drugs. I just cannot get enough. I could read these comments all day. So to everyone watching, I don't want you to limit or filter yourselves in any way. I want you to feel emboldened. Don't be afraid to celebrate in the most insufferable way imaginable, because the only people you're going to offend are the ones responsible for our pain and suffering in the first place. So let them taste their own medicine. We all know that if Andrew Cuomo won decisively, they would be doing the same thing. So let them taste their own medicine. And most importantly, hang on to this moment and really cherish it, because we don't know how long it's going to be until we feel this way again. But if this victory is an indication of what's to come, that feeling might come sooner again than we expect.
Let's go, November 2025. November 2025. Let's make it a fucking party. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and check out that video on the screen now.